particularly for the press, that what we are doing is not to increase the pump price of fuel. That's not what we are doing. That's not what we are doing. What we are doing is to take 5% from the existing price to make sure that we have good roads for Nigerians. We are not increasing the price of fuel at all. The Act did not envisage that. So don't go and, because I know the press, tomorrow morning now you can buy the next newspaper. It says House of Rep proposed increase of 5% of fuel price. That's not what we are doing. This law is as old as 2007. I want to thank you for coming. I like the spirit with which we are doing this for our country. This committee is charged with looking at what has happened in this all-important matter of the 5% user charge that is mandated by Section 14(1)H of the FERMA Act of 2007. This provision has not been operationalized since it got into existence. But the law is the law. We must find a way to ensure that the law is obeyed. And we are meeting as a committee by the authority of the House of Representatives that have mandated us as a committee to look into the issues involved in this matter, the issues of collection, remittance, disbursement of the 5% user charge. And in our last meeting here, the issue of the Tax Act, how it affects the FERMA Act, came to fore, particularly 158, that talks about a fossil fuel surcharge of 5%, which some interpret as one and the same with the FERMA 5% user act charge. This committee is looking forward to the actualization of government's desire to ensure that Nigerian roads are usable. Nigerian roads are motorable. All over the country, we suffer this problem of bad roads. And it's not something that you will solve just by budgeting. In most countries of the world, these provisions are made such that from toll gates, from user charges on fuel and diesel, funds are always available for road maintenance. And in our country, it has become so bad that even the operators, I'm talking about the operators in the midstream and downstream sectors of the oil industry, they are victims of the bad roads also. Your tankers fall on the road, but some people say your tankers that spoil the road. So whether it's your tankers that spoil the road or the roads that fall your tanker is a matter of another day's discussion, but it's a national problem. The situation is so bad that even when these things happen, you have no compensation, no insurance, nothing to fall back on. So the nation is losing in every way. This situation cannot continue like that. We've got to change it for our country. We've got to change the narrative for our country. So we agreed in our last meeting that we're going to have two committees set up today that will deal with the pre-Tax Act situation and then post-Tax Act, depending on how you see it, how the Tax Act affects the FERMA Act and the collection of this 5% user charge.
It's very important for the socio-economic development of Nigeria and also national development. In doing so, we also ensure that we have roads that are fully well utilized, improves serviceability, and also durability and sustainability of our network to ensure socio-economic development.
Regardless of how this 5% turns out to be, the protection of those of us who are actually going to be involved in ensuring that this payment is done, which is stakeholders in the downstream, MEMAN, DAPMAN, IPMAN, Petron, NUPENG, PTD, NATO, is very critical that these industry stakeholders that will be so very involved in this should always be taken out. I'll repeat them again. It's MEMAN, DAPMAN, IPMAN, Petron, NUPENG, NATO. These are very critical stakeholders that will make this endeavor to be successful. And it will be very, very critical that in all of the discussions that these stakeholders are on the table. When they are there, arguments that will come out later as opinions that will not tally with this would have been shelved. So I just wanted to call your attention to it. And of course, you've just mentioned two critical issues that are very important to us. One is the hazards that we face in this business, the accidents our vehicles, have, and the retail outlets that just for no just cause will go into flames. So there's also need to talk about a very strong insurance, component into this discussion, and then thereafter, yes, it's a settled law by the Act, but I think we still need to go back and review and see what 5% means in today's business.
A lot of sacrifice for us to put in to ensure that this exercise comes into play. And it's a real privilege that of all Nigerians, you are invited to be part of this noble exercise. So I want to employ all of us to put our best to ensure that this committee comes up flying with reasonable decisions that will see Nigeria moving forward.
They die on the road when there's fire accident, and nobody pays anything for the hazard they go through. So even the tank farm owners are going to be beneficiaries. It's like a win-win situation. And for the ordinary Nigerian, we have better roads to ply. And government can now apply other resources to constructing new roads and other social infrastructure. But for existing roads, we must be able to fix it from the provisions of the law.